If you're an American planning a trip to Europe in the next few months, this video could save your trip and possibly a lot more. Hey everybody, if you're new here, I'm Jennifer, and this channel is all about helping travelers over 50 navigate the world smartly and safely. Today, we need to have a real conversation about traveling to Europe as an American right now. Look, I know this isn't the fun, dreamy travel content that we all love, but with everything happening, new tariffs on Europe, our president trying to take over Greenland by force or by money, heightened tensions, domestic turnover with ICE operations here in the US, let's be real, international relations are complicated. And right now, we need to talk about what this means for you and your upcoming European vacation. So let's address the elephant in the room right now. The United States is in a pretty unprecedented situation. We've got newly announced tariffs on Europe goods, and we have European leaders responding with their own measures. We're hearing talk about taking over Greenland that's making international headlines, and domestically, there's been significant unrest with ICE enforcement actions and tragic events that have had the whole country on edge. Now, you might be thinking, why does this matter to my Paris vacation? Well, here's the thing. When political tensions rise between nations, it can affect everything, from how welcoming the locals are to Americans, to actual safety concerns, to the practical stuff like your dollar buying power and even flight availability. But here's what I want you to understand. This does not automatically mean that you should cancel your trip. It means you need to travel smarter, and that's exactly what we're going to cover today. I'm going to walk you through the current reality, give you 5 critical things you need to do before you go, and help you make an informed decision about your specific situation. And by the way, I've created a free downloadable guide with all 5 of these tips that we're going to cover today, plus a clickable link to all the resources I mentioned. You'll find that in the description below. Okay, so what actually is different about traveling to Europe right now compared to 6 months ago? First, the diplomatic climate. Tariffs and trade tensions historically affect tourism. We saw this during the previous dispute. Sometimes Europeans are less enthusiastic about American tourists, and sometimes your dollar doesn't stretch as far. That's just reality. Second, there's the perception factor. Right now, America is in an international spotlight for a lot of reasons, and not all of them positive. Some Europeans may have stronger opinions about American policies than usual. Most people will be wonderful and welcoming still, but you might encounter more political conversation than you would expect. Third, and this is important, there's the safety calculation. Europe has its own security concerns right now. The conflict with Ukraine is ongoing. There are tensions in various regions. This doesn't mean Europe is unsafe, but it does mean you need to be more aware of where you're going and when. But here's the good news. Millions of Americans will travel to Europe safely this year. The key is being prepared and informed rather than scared and uninformed. So let's get into what you actually need to do if you're traveling to Europe in the next couple of months. Tip 1, get the right travel insurance. This is not the time to get that basic $50 travel insurance policy. You need coverage that specifically addresses what's happening in the world right now. Standard travel insurance excludes war and political unrest, but you can get specialized coverage. Look for policies that include cancel for any reason, CFAR is what they're abbreviated as. That will let you back out if you don't feel comfortable. Political evacuation coverage is important, terrorism coverage, medical emergency evacuation. These policies cost more, but we're talking about protecting a trip that probably costs thousands of dollars, not to mention your safety. I've linked to FAY travel insurance in my free download as well as in the description. Full disclosure, I do receive a small commission if you use that link, but I'm recommending them because they offer these specific coverages that are crucial right now, plus they have agents that you can talk to get the right coverage for you. The key is to buy the coverage before any major incident happens. Once something occurs, it's too late to get the coverage for it. Tip 2, documentation is everything. Your passport needs to be valid for at least 6 months beyond the date you plan to return home. Most European countries will follow this rule. Check yours right now, but here's what most people don't know about it, and this is super important. You may need to get an ETIAS authorization for a Schengen country. That's the European Travel Information and Authorization System. It's been postponed 1,000,000 times, but is now in effect. Think of it as Europe's version of what other countries need to visit the US. If you're going to the UK or even doing a connecting flight there, you need the ETA, Electronic Travel Authorization, even if it's just for that layover or pass-through. They aren't hard to get, but they take time. And if you show up at the airport without one, you're not going on that plane. All these links and applications are in my free guide. Don't wait until the last minute on these. Apply at least a month before your trip. Tip number 3, enroll in STEP. Here's something that takes 5 minutes and could literally save your life. Enroll in STEP, the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, through the U.S. Embassy. Now, I know some travelers right now are trying to keep their plans private, and I can totally understand that, but I'm going to tell you what STEP does so you can make an informed decision. If there's a strike, an emergency, a security issue, or an evacuation situation in the place you're traveling to, the U.S. Embassy will text you directly with real-time information. During the early days of the pandemic, STEP enrollees got information about repatriation flights, while other Americans were frantically trying to find information on Facebook groups. It's free, it's from the U.S. government, and it could be the difference between stuck somewhere dangerous and getting out safely. But once again, it is run by the U.S. government, so I'm going to leave that up to you to decide if that's something you want to do. I will have the link in that tip sheet. Tip number 4. Monitor advisories from multiple sources. You need to be checking travel.state.gov for country-specific advisories. This tells you about crime levels, terrorism risk, health concerns, and whether there are any bans or restrictions. But here's my additional tip. Also check the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data website. This is an independent, impartial global monitor that tracks conflicts and protest in real time. Once again, the link is in the tip sheet. Why would you go with both of these? Because government advisories sometimes lag behind what's actually happening on the ground. And this ACE-LED gives you current data. If there's a major protest happening in the city where your hotel is, you want to know it before you arrive and not when you get stuck in it. Tip number 5, have a backup plan. This is the one nobody wants to think about, but you need a plan B and even a plan C. What if tensions escalate the week before your trip? What if new travel restrictions are announced? What if there's a major incident? If you have that cancel for any reason insurance, you can cancel, but you should also know, can you postpone it instead of canceling it? What's your airline's rebooking policy? Do you have all the confirmation numbers and embassy contacts saved offline and in your phone? Have you told somebody back home about your itinerary? I recommend you have a shared Google Doc or a note with a trusted friend or family member that has your flight details, hotel information, copy of your passport, credit card information for emergencies, embassy phone numbers. That way, if something goes wrong, you don't want to be scrambling around to remember all these details. Okay, so the big question, should you actually go to Europe right now? Here's my honest answer. It depends on your specific trip, your comfort level, and your preparation. If you're going to a major tourist city, Paris, Rome, Barcelona, and you've done everything on that list, you're probably fine. These cities host millions of tourists and have robust security. If you're going to areas closer to conflict zones or politically sensitive regions, that requires more serious consideration. Check those advisories carefully. If you're traveling with young children or elderly family members who might struggle if you need to evacuate quickly, think carefully about timing. But if you're a reasonably flexible traveler who's done your homework and has good insurance, Europe is still receiving millions of visitors, and most of them have wonderful, safe experiences. The key is informed decisions, not fear-based decisions. Look, I'm not going to scare you out of traveling. Travel is one of the most enriching things we can do. But smart travel right now means being more prepared than usual. If this video helped you, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more real talk and advice on travel. And drop a comment. Are you still planning your European trip, or have you decided to wait? I would love to hear from you. Safe travels, everyone. Ciao for now.